you. Thank you for being here. Are you excited about Billie Jean King a little bit later this afternoon? Yes! I am so stoked to see Billie Jean King. So I want to thank our keynote sponsor for the Billie Jean King keynote segment, and that is FitGrid. FitGrid is right out here. Yes, thank you, FitGrid. So we have Roxy and Amaya here to share with you some state-of-the-industry insights. They've been doing research and have some amazing data to share with you. Come on up. Roxy Borger is a former yoga studio owner, a certified yoga instructor. She's the queen of Mindbody University, having been at 50 Mindbody universities, and she has a degree in mathematics. Amaya, come on up. Amaya is a former college athlete, if you couldn't tell by looking at her. She's a certified group fitness instructor. She has a PhD in cognitive science from UC San Diego, right down the street. And she leads our Mindbody research team. Give them a big hand, please.
Hey! Data! Hey! So do you guys love data?
We love data.
We love data. If you know anything about me and Roxy, you know that we love data, and we have had so much fun putting together this presentation for you guys. We've looked broadly at the market and market research. We've looked at our own internal customer data, and we've even looked at some consumer trends. So we have lots of great content. We're going to zip through it. So let's talk about the wellness industry. In 2015, the Global Wellness Institute characterized it as a $3.7 trillion global economy. What's really exciting is that in a couple of weeks, the Global Wellness Institute is going to be publishing their new study. So for those of you guys who like to geek out on that stuff, look out for it. And we're hoping that we're going to see that's even ticking up higher at about $4 trillion. To put that into perspective, that's about a fifth of the size of the entire US economy. So the market's doing great. Here's how the Global Wellness Institute characterizes the wellness industry. So it's comprised of everything from fitness and spas and thermal and mineral springs. And you can see that, for instance, that fitness economy is $542 billion global economy. Super exciting. We're also seeing strong growth in the US fitness industry. And for instance, the yoga and Pilates industry is projected to grow at a rate of 4.9% through 2022. Gyms and health clubs projected to grow at about 5%, and we're seeing specialized concepts like boutique fitness franchises are projected to grow at nearly 3 times that rate. So lots of growth. Woo, yeah. Okay, awesome. US beauty and wellness industries are flourishing as well. So salons and spas projected to grow into the future. And then these specialized concepts like blow-dry bars and massage franchises are projected to grow at a high rate. That's not showing up, but blow-dry bars, 25%. Pretty exciting. Yeah. So when we look at our own customer data, what's really exciting is that the US GDP, you can see kind of year-over-year growth rates or quarterly growth rates. Our own customers are class-based businesses like our fitness businesses, and our appointment-based businesses are doing better than average businesses in the US. So that's awesome. Yeah, you should be proud of yourselves, yes. So let's talk a little bit more about wellness in America. Well, so this is, you may remember from yesterday, it's the 7 dimensions of wellness. And over the summer, the Mindbody research team had the opportunity to look broadly at the US consumer wellness and how consumers are doing on their own 7 dimensions of wellness. So we conducted a survey of over 3,000 Americans, and we asked them about how they're doing on their 7 dimensions of wellness. And here's what we discovered. A lot of opportunity, right? So what's cool is that the industry is growing, and yet consumers have so much opportunity to continue to improve their wellness through engaging with wellness providers. So 68% of Americans don't prioritize fitness. That's a huge opportunity for us to do even more. The cool thing about participating in one piece of wellness or one dimension of wellness is that there's benefits to other ones as well. So one of the cool things we learned in our research is that people who participate in group exercise are 27% more spiritually fulfilled than those who do not. And that may not be a surprise to anybody that owns a yoga studio or a CrossFit studio, that the people who come to your facility are more engaged in things like closer relationships, they're more comfortable expressing feelings, they enjoy their life more and more. And so it was neat to see that reflected in our data. So we also asked Americans how they engage with wellness providers. We found that 63% of Americans are engaging with beauty service providers, 39% engaging with integrative health providers, and 26% of Americans are going to group fitness. So lots of opportunity. And only 16% of Americans see wellness providers in all three of these different modalities. So what we take away from this data is that wellness providers are needed more than ever. We also have the opportunity to look at some US consumer wellness trends. So this is kind of what's hot, what's not in the industry. When we looked at people that go to group fitness on a regular basis, we actually found that yoga is the most popular group fitness. Yeah, yoga. We learned that 28% of people that do group exercise are going to yoga at least once a week. Very accessible to all age groups and age categories. So yoga's hot. You guys may also see, if you're, your specialized studio, you can see some of the trends that relate to you. Brogies. You guys may remember we talked about the brogies last year. These are men who go to yoga. And what we're seeing that's really awesome is that that brogie population continues to grow year over year. So this year we saw 30% of men engaging, 30% of our yoga practitioners are men. And it's up 7% from 2016. The really cool thing about those brogies is that they're very engaged. So 40% of these men who practice yoga are going 4 to 5 times a week or more. We also learned across different age groups and age categories that millennials are particularly interested in high-intensity interval training. So you can see that 38% of millennials are interested in things like boot camp and CrossFit. And you can see some of the differences in the different age brackets depending on which modality you're most interested in. So spa treatments. We asked people what's hot with spa. We learned that massage is the most popular spa treatment. We also learned facials are flying. So people who go to spas on a regular basis, 38% of them are interested in trying facials. And we looked at some of the age differences with our Gen Zers. Those are the 18 to 25-year-olds. They're interested in mud and detox body wrap services and hydrotherapy. We also looked at some differences between men and women, found some interesting things. So in the women category, we found that with regards to those integrative health and wellness services, women seem to be more interested in relaxation services like massage and hydrotherapy, and men are more interested in these pain management modalities like chiropractic, acupressure, and acupuncture. We also found that men in general are using these integrative health services more frequently than women, and their spend is a little bit higher, so $32 on average a month versus $24. In terms of some fun facts, we discovered that 3% of women are using barber services, so potentially for specialized haircuts and things that can't be done at a typical salon. And we've learned that 16% of women want to try permanent makeup. As another fun fact, we learned that 6% of men say they're interested in lash extensions. So, maybe working on their plumage, right? Yeah. And 23% of men are interested in trying manicures and pedicures. I know that my husband likes to come with me when I get my pedicures. We have a little pedicure date. Great, so it's all about the revenue. So we wanted to see how much Americans were spending on wellness. So we asked people how much they're spending on wellness activities in our consumer survey. And this is just at wellness providers. It's not for things like retail, like yoga pants and things like that. It's really just for the service offerings. So what we learned is that all US consumers are spending on average about $87 a month on wellness. When we look specifically at people who work out 1 time a week or more, you can see that that ticks up a little bit to $102 a week, or excuse me, a month. And then when we looked at US consumers who attend group fitness, we see it's going up even more. So $172 a month on wellness. And finally, when we looked selectively at our Mindbody app consumers, here's what we see. $277 a month. It's not showing up, but it's $277 when you add up all of those categories. And what's really interesting is that participation in group fitness is correlating with higher spending across all wellness modalities. So not just fitness, but beauty and integrative health. Our Mindbody app users are spending a lot on their wellness and wellness care. So, Roxy, I can hand it off to you for some industry benchmarks.
Thank you. My turn. Can you? Yeah, okay. So first, I have to have my Blake moment. I just want to thank you, Carrie, for what you're doing in Detroit. I grew up in downriver Detroit, but I've lived in California for 15 years, and my heart is still there. And I've struggled to bring wellness to my family and friends who are still there and live very different lifestyles. Like, it's very easy to live the lifestyle in the central coast of California. It's a little harder to bring it back for me, for some of the people that are really, that's just not part of their habits. So I'm just letting you know that what you're doing, like deep in my belly and my soul, like I'm really grateful for what you're doing. And I'm gonna come visit you when I come to Detroit in October. So I'm sorry we had to make all of you listen to that, but that's my home, that's my peeps. So anyway, now you get to hear more about data. So first, I wanna take a moment to talk to you about consumer booking trends. Actually, even before that, I feel the need to say this. Feel free to keep taking pictures of the slides, but you'll be able to download a PDF of this presentation for those of you who wanted to know that. Okay, I was told. I hope it's true. Okay, so let's first talk about consumer booking trends. So the story here is that online bookings continue to grow, but they're not as much as I think they could be. So the orange bars you're looking at, that's the amount of bookings in the Mindbody platform that have been happening over time. So more and more bookings are happening through Mindbody. The red line is the amount of those that are happening online, and it's a 40%, and it really has only been growing by about 1% per year for the last few years. So I think you guys have a huge opportunity to better encourage your customers to go online. So I know we're doing better now than we've ever done. When I first talked about online booking at MBU like 10 years ago, you guys were like, ew, I'm not doing that. Why would I do that? And frankly, the experience probably wasn't that great then either. Now it's so beautiful and easy. So if you're not sure about your online experience, either in the app or through your website, you can stop by the product playground. We have a makeover booth there. They'll help you through the Mindbody app, make sure your app looks great, it's optimized, everything works really well. So we still have a ton of opportunity there, and you can remove those barriers to entry for your prospective customers and your existing customers. And we know social media is hot, right? So this is like a no-brainer that we are getting a ton of new leads and discoveries from social media. The top categories are Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. But the two things that are most exciting to me about this data, and this is from Google, is that of those people that are finding your business through social media, half of them are actually making purchases. So the leads that are coming to you through social media are warm leads. They're likely to make purchases. And why don't we make that process easier for them? So Mindbody has the ability for you to completely nest and integrate your Instagram booking. They can book right within Instagram. They can book right within Facebook. They don't have to leave. Thank you. So you can make that experience easy and sexy, and they don't need to leave the social media platform. So you should do that. If you haven't checked out Mindbody Promote, that's our functionality that does that. That's also dynamic pricing, intro offers. We have a booth that will talk to you about that too, so check it out. Hands down, like, this is like the story of my life, right? Any of you have heard me speak already. I've been shouting from the rooftops forever that retention is the biggest challenge we face in our industries. And it's very easy to forget that because you guys are having to fix broken toilets and deal with subs and deal with all the things that are being thrown your way. But really, even if you move retention a tiny amount, it's saving you money. So I think retention is a huge opportunity. And this is what the data is surrounding retention. So year-over-year retention is about 30%. And I was really intrigued this year. What's different, what we looked at differently is we wanted to understand appointment-based businesses versus class-based businesses. The bottom line is both of those industries, everyone is really only retaining 1/3 of your customers year over year. And this is a very loose definition of retention, meaning of all the customers who made one purchase in 2017, at least one, did they make at least one more in 2018? That's just 2 purchases. And we're only retaining 30% of those. So if you can get this percent to move even 5%, you're going to see better profitability in your business. You're going to see more community. You're going to see more customers coming back. But we also wanted to give you a little big, hairy goal to shoot for. So we actually looked even deeper. So what we did was look at the year-over-year retention of all of our customers, and then we looked at what the top 10 percentile was. So this is your big, hairy, aggressive goal for next year. So I want you to come up to me at Bold next year and tell me how much you changed your year-over-year retention. This is a good goal to shoot for. This is what the top businesses are achieving in Mindbody. So 56% or 59%, 56 is classes, 59 is appointments. So are you guys gonna improve it? You learned so much at Bold, right? So much. Your brains are stuffed, I'm sure. Okay, so I'm a teacher at heart. I've been teaching with Mindbody and working in your industries since 2005. I owned a yoga studio for 5 years, and my job is to compile education for you guys that really works. So I just want to take a moment to give you a little, like, so what? What can you do to improve your retention? And I propose that if you really focus on these 3 things over the next year, you can move that retention. And first, I'm gonna start with a foundational thing, which is marketing. You have to be filling the funnel. And it's not just throwing money out there, and it's not just posting to social media while you're at Bold. I hope you do that too, but I want you to do marketing that you're measuring the results from. I want you to look at what you're spending your marketing dollars and energies on and which one is providing the best results, and do more of that. And you know, Mindbody Promote can help you with that, with all the marketing features that it has. Second, it's pricing. I think we should have methodical, intelligent pricing that is rewarding the committed customers, is making it easy for customers to make decisions to come into your business. We're meeting the customers where they are. If they're a sporadic user of your services, that means they might use dynamic pricing or a drop-in rate. But if they're really committed, they get the best rate on a per session basis. And then last but not least, sales. And some of you guys might have just squirmed seeing that word on the screen, right? A lot of us don't feel comfortable selling our life-enhancing services. That's kind of crazy, isn't it? Like, you should be shouting from the rooftops what you're doing and how great it is. So what do I really mean with sales? I mean, hey, if you sign up for our membership before your intro offer expires, you get $20 off per month for a year. I mean, that's kind of aggressive. But what is that? That's an incentive to get those people to stay and to keep people on, right? So if you want any more information on that, check Mindbody One, our community, our online platform out. Check out Mindbody University events, Mindbody University on Demand. We have tons of content surrounding all these topics. So next, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about sales trends. Really wanted to better understand the types of purchases that are happening in your businesses. So we looked at sales mix breakdown, and what I was really excited to see is that fitness businesses in particular have really embraced selling memberships and multi-session packages. And this is really the most purchases other than single sessions that I've seen yet since we've been running the data. So great job, fitness businesses, on getting people to buy other packages. Why is that cool? Because you remove barrier to entry for those people to come back for more than one session. So that's why I like that. And then we looked at beauty as well. So beauty, you know, no surprise, it's the opposite scale there. Beauty services see 91% of single sessions being purchased. So maybe there's some opportunities in beauty and integrative health to encourage repeat purchases, or at least another visit, right? Last but not least, I just want to share this slide, this graph, this data surrounding expenses with you. So this is actually fitness studio expenses You guys, yeah, I heard you. No, I'm kidding, sorry. I got a little distracted. It's also a friend of mine, so it's okay. So fitness studio benchmarks. These are the top fitness studios using Mindbody. And we finally just asked, what are your expenses? And this is what they are. So we just wanted to share that with you. I could literally stand here and talk about this slide with you for about 4 hours, but I have about a minute. So I'm just gonna say a few things about the expense side, which we don't often get to talk a lot about. One, I wanna say, payroll, right? Biggest expense you have. And I want you to reward your hardworking, dedicated team members, but you also need to pay them based on what your business is currently earning. And so I just want to make sure that, think about that. And if you're struggling, minimizing your expenses can be a way to free things up and make your bottom line a little bit better. Second thing I want to point out is owner draw. Owner draw is often not listed in the fixed expenses. How many of you guys aren't paying yourself right now? Some of you are, and a lot of you probably are, and you're not willing to raise your hand because you feel a little guilty. I didn't pay myself the first 2 years I ran my yoga studio. It's a little painful, isn't it? And I really just want to encourage you not to do that forever, okay? So that's my please, I'm like your business coach, your mom. Don't let that go on too long, because if you let it go on too long, you'll get burnt out, you'll get resentful, and you won't be in business forever. And I want you to be in business forever, okay? Or as long as possible, okay? We all good with that? I'm going to say okay again, I don't know why. All right, the last thing I want to point out is marketing. So a lot of times when budget gets tight, we pull money from marketing because it's an easy thing to pull money from. And so last but not least, don't pull money from your marketing. You always have to be reinvesting to be bringing in more new customers so that we can make up for that retention challenge. All right, so we're moving on to wellness and technology next.
Thanks, Roxy. I always love working with Roxy because she just brings the data home. She really helps you understand the insights and how you can apply them to your business. So definitely enjoy working with this lady. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to talk about won't take too long, but I basically want to talk a little bit about some technology trends. At the end of the day, Mindbody is a technology company, and we're here to help you really take advantage of the best tech that's out there and think about how to apply it to your business so you can continue to improve, stay relevant, and make the best use of your dollars. So one of the fun things that we did in the product playground this week is we were running a tech trends survey. So for those of you that participated, thank you. It's a small survey, but we wanted to know from you, what is the most important technology? Where do you think the industry is headed? Where are you going to be investing? What are you investing in now? And so these are some of the things we asked about, everything from email marketing automation to wearables, live streaming video. And here's some of the things that we learned from you guys. We learned that some of the most popular tech people are currently using are email automation, text automation, and social media scheduling tools. So social media is hard to keep up with, and these scheduling tools can help kind of keep that a little bit more manageable for your studio. We also learned that people in 2019 are planning to invest in those social media scheduling tools. Things like live chat, which can help engage customers on your website and on your social media. Streaming and pre-recorded video is something people were very interested in, and then also chatbots. What was interesting is that we also learned that there's a portion of you that think chatbots are just hype, so we'll have to see where the industry goes. That's all we have for you guys today. If you want to chat more, come see us in the product playground. And I'd love to welcome up Rick Stolmeyer. Come on up. I'm coming down. Okay. Yeah, you got time.
Hello, everybody. There's so many delightful things about Bold, it's impossible to list. But one of the most delightful things is the chance to interact directly, both your opportunity to interact directly with the Mindbody team, people that are otherwise typically voices on the phone, or someone writing an email or chat response to you, and our opportunity to interact directly with you. And since we started doing this more than 12 years ago with Mindbody University, one thing has come through repetitively from our customers, from you, and that is you understand how difficult it is to build a great business. And it begins with a great team. And I hear over and over from you, and you've said it to me this week, wow, what an amazing team. So can we just take a moment and give a hand to the Mindbody team? Thank you. They continue to blow me away, and I'm incredibly proud of them. So the other thing that I hear is the question, how did you do this? How did this happen? And other than just sheer luck, I think I have a few thoughts that might be helpful. So let's talk about what constitutes a great business. Most of what we talk about in Mindbody University and here at Bold is how to make a good business. A good business is where you can provide experiences to people that improve their lives, in which they will pay you money for, and hopefully more money than it costs you to deliver it. And there's a lot more people out there, and it's a sticky habit. All the things that they were just talking about. That's a good business. You gotta start there. If you don't have that, you're not gonna get all the rest. But how do you make a great business? Well, here's some thoughts on this. Number one, it is about leadership. And every one of you here in this room is a leader. The minute you decide, I am gonna take that leap, I'm gonna leave this job I've had, I'm gonna take this large amount of my net worth, or perhaps all of my net worth, I may perhaps borrow money from family and friends, I may take on debt to hang up my shingle, to help other people lead healthier, happier lives. At that moment, you just said, I am a leader. And understanding the principles of leadership is absolutely essential. Number two, great businesses have a purpose greater than themselves. It's not just about making money. We need to make money. Businesses are designed to make money. But if that's all it's ever about, it's not sustainable, it's empty. And some of the most unhappy professions in the world are the professions where it really is just about making a lot of money. And perhaps you can, but you find people in those lines of work routinely depressed and burned out and seeking something more. You guys do the purpose thing in spades. That's what inspired us. It's what got Blake and I to take this flying leap off a cliff 20 years ago and embark on this journey. Third, this notion that we have to evolve, we have to adapt, we have to be creative. Yes, yoga is a 3,000-year-old practice, but the method of delivery has evolved enormously, even over the last 10 years. Yes, Joseph Pilates created Pilates, and it's a magnificent practice that heals people and has changed lives. And if you want to have a successful Pilates business, you'd better be evolving and adapting, because people are adapting and creating all the time. And we could say this about every business you're in. You're in the salon industry, the spa industry, you're doing one of the high-intensity interval trainings. This is absolutely essential. The biggest failure point I see in entrepreneurs is they get in love with their own ideas. Now, you need to be in love with your principles, but not in love with your ideas. There's a difference. Principles are enduring. Principles are important beliefs that drive what you're doing. And principles need to be mirrored in your team in alignment around core values. But the ideas, you know what, I'm gonna try this new intro package and it's gonna do this. Yeah, try it. Your business is a laboratory. I encourage you to treat it as your own little laboratory that you can try ideas and solicit ideas from your team members and from your customers to tell you what you should do next, and see what's happening and what's working out there. But don't get too in love with them, because the market will speak the truth. Your customers will speak the truth, and you have to respond to that. Let's talk about leadership. So you heard that I was a naval officer. I was a nuclear submarine officer stationed on the SSN 721, USS Chicago, stationed in Point Loma, about 5 miles away over there. It's an extraordinary experience to be back here now and look back and, by the way, see the scene from my hotel room of those Navy ships out there. It's deeply emotional for me. So I existed in a laboratory of leadership. What's up, Blake? I'm getting the hook.
Minor wardrobe malfunction here. I'm gonna help you out. There we go. We got your back.
Man, you see? Wow. Love you, brother. Man. I mean, you can't buy that. He's been covering my ass since I was 14 years old. He's got me out of more than a few scrapes. Thank you, Blake. Okay. All right. Leadership. It's essential, and there are books written about this. And I've existed in some really intense leadership environments, not the least of which is Mindbody. Here are some thoughts on it. Number one, to be an effective conscious leader, you have to know yourself. What do you stand for? What do you want your life to be about? What do you want people to say about you after you're gone? If you could write your own epitaph, what would it be? I mean, Michelle Obama, she knows herself, right? That's what makes her so powerful. You can tell what she stands for, and everyone around her. And now all of us know what she's about. And you've got to know this. It's a lifelong journey, and in a sense, it is never complete. But there comes a moment, a magic moment, when you can get yourself out of the way. Think about the most impactful leaders you've ever experienced in your life. That teacher, that trainer, that coach, that guru, that adult mentor, your parents, if you're really lucky. Think about an iconic moment you had with them, like some memory of an interaction where they said something to you that changed your life, that they saw you. In that moment, it wasn't about them, was it? It was about you. You felt completely seen. They knew what you had. They knew what you could offer to the world, and they also knew where you needed to make some progress and where you needed to make breakthroughs. The biggest pitfall I ever see in leaders is when they can't get outside of their own heads, when they're wrapped up in the pain they have from childhood and what went wrong and the person that insulted them yesterday and the fact that this isn't really where they want to be in their lives and their frustration with other people. And the biggest mistakes I've ever made in my life as a leader are when I'm wrapped up in my own head. So get out of your head. Be about them, the person in front of you. Leaders are not here to be served. Leaders are servants. Leaders exist because groups of people need leadership. I mean, it's such a simple and profound point. The team is why we have a leader. And there are cases, like in software development, there's something called Agile Scrum, where you can have a self-directed team that works together and iterates their way to the outcome. But in most cases, groups of human beings require leadership. And it is a service that you're giving to this people. I am in service of every member of the Mindbody team and all of you. Effective leaders, conscious leaders, are by definition conscious. What's the opposite of conscious? Unconscious, unaware of what's happening, not picking up on the subtleties, the visual clues, not curious about why did this person react in this interesting way? You know, wow, that was really strange what they just did. I wonder why. Rather than being triggered by it. You know, someone cuts you off on the road, you're going, wow, that dude's really in a hurry. I wonder what's going on with him. That's not how we usually react, right? It's hard to do. It requires enormous energy. And I don't know how you do that without actually loving people. Great leaders love people. Michelle Obama loves people. I mean, you see this love just pouring out of her. It's where she gets its enormous strength and power. So let's talk about purpose. The most effective thing you can do is write a purpose statement for your business. Why does this business exist? And some people would suggest that you kind of get together and get a whole working group to do it. For most of your cases, I think it should be you, the founders and leaders of the business, perhaps a few people that have been key with you on the journey to collaborate and bounce ideas off us. But ultimately, if you don't know what you stand for, how can the team possibly know that? So this is our purpose at Mindbody. We help people lead healthier, happier lives by connecting the world to fitness, beauty, and wellness. And you've heard this repeatedly over the last 2 days. And we live and breathe off of this purpose. And then you have to have alignment around these core values. So at Mindbody, we actually have had a set of 7 core values, but recently we pulled together a team, a group, a core values task force to look at them again and refresh how they state them. And actually for the Mindbody team members that are here, we only recently actually put this last version out. So this is brand new. These are Mindbody's core values. Not saying these should be your core values. They're just an example of what an effective core value statement looks like. Number 1, we are committed to wellness. We are committed to living the wellness lifestyle ourselves. We are committed to improving the wellness of the world, and we are committed to serving you, the wellness industry. That is our why, that is our North Star. Number 2, we're audaciously achieving, this word audacity and audaciousness, this willing to take some leaps once in a while, to try things that haven't been done before, and commitment to actually achieving. Number 3, we are humble and helpful. You know, the pathway to failure is in ego and arrogance because we shut ourselves off to growth and to improving ourselves. So hopefully you have seen that energy in every Mindbody team member you've interacted with this week. This inner humbleness and this just joy that they derive by helping people, most particularly you. Empathy. Empathy has surfaced out. This ability to feel what other people are feeling and to discern what's going on with them. It's a skill. Some people are really good at it. Others need work. But you know what? It's not a gift. It's a skill. And we can all become more empathetic. And lastly, consciously evolving. This used to say continuously evolving. And yes, we've pretty much been continuously evolving. But we wanted to emphasize that this is a conscious effort. So these are our 5 core values at Mindbody. They're everything about us. Your core values determine who you hire. You may have the most talented teacher in the world sitting in front of you, but her core values don't align with you. She should not be on your team, right? It can cause enormous friction and damage in the organization. And as a leader, you have to make those calls. And you get someone on the team where you missed it, because interviews, sometimes you can miss it. And you've got a value misalignment, right? You got to make the hard call. Because you know what? It's not their aspiration to be in an organization where they're friction, where they're causing problems. Release them back into the world so they can go find an organization that aligns with their values. Truly, that needs to happen sometimes. And it's one of the hardest things we do as leaders is letting someone go. So let's talk about leadership and how we think about it. We think about leadership in an element of 5 C's, and I learned this directly in the Navy. Number 1, we have these questions to ask about our leaders. Number 1, do you know what you're doing? Because if you don't know what you're doing, it's really scary. And in the Navy, it might cost me my life. In business, you know, this is hazardous to my livelihood. That's competence. Number 2, well, if you know what you're doing, will you do the right thing? Will you do the right thing even if it costs you personally? Will you do the right thing even if it's really inconvenient? And we can fake people out on our character for a short period of time, but our true character will come through, and the people that work for you and around you, they will know your character. And when you demonstrate a high level of character and integrity, they will respect you so much more. Number 3, do you care as much about me as you do about yourself? I think one of the biggest failings I see in the business world is this lack of caring. This sense of, well, I expect you to be loyal to this organization and give us everything you've got. And the minute you're no longer any use to us, we're going to discard you. There's a lack of compassion, a lack of care. And it's completely demotivating to people. Number 4, will you get things done? Leaders are here to remove obstacles. Now, I'm a science geek. I love this word catalyst. A catalyst is something you add to a solution, and it causes the elements in the solution to come together, to create a reaction, to form a new compound. And what makes this metaphor really elegant is that the catalyst remains in the solution. It's not in the compound. So what do we mean? We mean that if you're the coach on the side of the field and you see a problem out on the field, you don't run out there and grab the ball. You're sitting back and you're looking at what's happening. You're identifying the obstacles and you're removing those obstacles. That's what leaders do. And lastly, but not least, courage. Do you have the courage to speak truth to authority? At Mindbody, we want an atmosphere, we foster an atmosphere where anyone can say what they truly believe to anyone, and most importantly, me. And I have frontline team members that will come to me or who will write me emails and say, this is what's wrong, this is what's bothering you right now. We love that. We love that at Mindbody. It takes courage, it takes real guts and backbone to do that. And wow, that's amazing. There's a flip side of courage, the courage to take responsibility and to be accountable for your own performance and for the performance of your team. You see leaders who try to defer responsibility to their teams. Well, they screwed up. Wait a minute, you're leading that team. You picked that team. You defined the outcome of that team. You prepared them. That's your responsibility. Competence, character, compassion, catalyst, and courage. Man, I can think of somebody who embodies those kind of values.
As Billie Jean once said, we should never, ever underestimate the human spirit.